Hey, hey, my creative friends. I'm Shannon from Shannon's Studio, and we are talking about creative things. And we have been for 134 days in a row. No, 143 days. 143 days in a row. And tonight I was gonna do a food board, put together a food board for us because I was gonna do one for tomorrow because yesterday I talked about putting an element of fun in, and Alan said he'd go to the store by himself with Joseph, so that would leave me at home by myself. And I was like, yeah. And I was able to get some, one of my fabric designs done, and it was just good. But so my descriptions weren't good. He's not familiar with the store, so some of the stuff didn't come home. So I thought, I'm gonna do something else, no food board. So I think we'll put together a food board later on because they're super easy, and I think they just look good for such little effort and put a little bit of specialness into even sandwiches, so it can be anything. So I think we'll do that another time. But so in the meantime, then I went to kind of think about what else I might talk about tonight. And the thing that came to me was during the holidays, how many people are lonely, how many people struggle during this time. And then it made me think of, I told you that Joseph had a Santa Lucia program at his school. And when we were having the program, and everybody's clapping and having a good time during one of the songs, for me, tears streaming down my face. And this happened in inappropriate times because everybody, it's a joyful occasion usually for everybody, or at least I know of. And so usually I'll end up crying because of something with Layla. So for instance, for him, the kids are singing and everything, and it just hit me that this is his first Christmas concert, and Layla would have loved to have been there. And it's a really good book. So there's several quotes I want to read out of this book, but one of the first quotes is, it talks about, and about the things that we deal with, trauma and pain and that sort of thing, from emotional things. And he talks about what you can do in order to address some of those things when we need to address them. So he says, engulfed in emotional pain, we often experience every detail of our lives anew as we are forced to live through a wrenching series of firsts. Our first meal, first night alone, first look in the mirror, first Santa Lucia concert. He didn't put that Santa Lucia in there, but yeah, there's so many firsts. And then he goes on to say that this endless array of firsts can keep coming at us for weeks and months, and I will add years. And he says, every first evokes memories, painful longings, and deep yearnings for that which we've lost, and we might find it hard to care about anything or anyone else. It's been 6 years, and sometimes I think it catches me by surprise because it has been 6 years. And the first are still there, and they're going to be, just by virtue of us having Joseph. And there will be a lot of first things. There have been, and there will continue to be. And it is just a reminder of the fact that we lost her and that she's not here to experience those firsts. And so, and then he goes on to say that even though we're in the middle of it, he says pain almost always subsides with time. Time is a hugely important factor. So there are ways to recognize the feelings, to understand them, to deal with them. But again, it's Christmas time, and this is a first for a lot of people experience the loss or trauma. And at a time when our hearts are full of love and caring, I just wanted to make a reminder that we can reach out. We can reach out and have conversations. We can reach out to people. And here, another thing, there was a story in his book that said this guy, Grant, was in a car accident, and he was falling asleep in the back seat when the accident happened. And when he came to, he was outside of the car. He could see his friend right near him was dead. And then he tried to get up but couldn't get up, and looked down, and both of his legs were gone. And it was 6 years when he was, I think this doctor guy, Winch, and he'd been 6 years with this pain that he would see himself. He defined himself by his career, his athleticism, and his outgoing personality, and he was none of those things anymore. And when he walked, he never looked at himself in the mirror. When he did catch a glimpse of himself, he didn't recognize who he was. That wasn't him. He said that's not me. He no longer had his identity. He hadn't had his identity for 6 years. And the trauma that he has, but then to have that trauma and loss go on for that long. There are things, that we can do for him. The doctor said he needs to redefine his identity, reconnect with buried parts of his personality, and decide what his life could look like now. And I think, just like with Layla's loss, it changed, and subsequently caring for Sky and Joseph, and then subsequently caring for Joseph. It changed the trajectory we thought our life was going to be like. We did have to redefine our identities. Even being a grandma, I was so looking forward to being a grandma, and I am a grandma. But when you have a child that's the same age as your grandkids, and he is your grandkid, it's you can't play grandma with them, and it's just an odd thing. You can't. It wouldn't be fair to grandma and grandpa to them, and be mom and dad. It would be confusing for him, and so it was like I didn't think I would lose that opportunity as well. I think maybe when he gets older, it'll change with all the grandkids, but for right now, it's different, and it's something I was looking forward to that isn't there anymore. Luckily, all the grandkids have great grandparents on their sides, on the in-law sides. So it's not like those kids are at a loss. They have great grandparents. And the idea that we have to choose how life's going to be. In our 50s, Alan and I did not think we'd be parents of a toddler or a young child. And so we're redefining our lives, seeing what it can be like now. And so those things happen, they're going on while you're living it. It's not like you take a break and go, okay, we're going to do this and this. It's ongoing. Hey, Jackie. So that redefining after loss and trauma is something that goes on that we don't necessarily a lot of times he says many of us respond to profound loss by withdrawing into ourselves. And I think at Christmas, people tend to do that. We tend to do that even more, where we want to withdraw. The pain is too sharp. The pain is too poignant. And so we do these things to protect ourselves from that kind of pain. And so, he calls them psychological wounds. I mean, if any of us saw somebody in pain, somebody close to us, a friend or something, with a gaping wound, we would all move quickly to do something, given our skill levels. And we would go, we'd try to do something. But the psychological wounds we don't see. And during the holidays, they can be more profound for people. So the tip tonight is think of creative ways to just reach out to people. It doesn't have to be huge, just a meaningful conversation, just asking how somebody's doing. Just you have creativity in you. You can figure it out. Something will come to your mind to be able to reach somebody so that you can lessen their suffering. Because a lot of people in this, especially just like when I was at that Santa Lucia thing and I'm crying and everybody else is happy, there's people out there who are in situations that look happy, but that they have that struggle. And with our friends and stuff, we usually know a little bit of their history. We could probably figure a few things out, and a meaningful conversation or just a hug. I don't know. There's so many ways we can reach out to people. So that's the tip for tonight is during these holidays, be aware of people around you and just reach out and connect with them. Just connect in whatever way you feel comfortable doing. Just reach out. Because it is hard. It is hard. And I'm grateful for people who I know, friends, and even comments like, I thought of Layla today. I will get texts or I will get emails or certain things will happen and people will say things. And people have reached out and it is a comfort. Even if we reach out in our awkwardness, it's okay. So that's the tip for tonight. Remember, you have a creative heartbeat, so listen for it. And I will be back tomorrow. Bye.